All right, so here we go with 1.3, write expressions. I'm asking you to do 1 through 18 all. Actually, I'm going to end up doing number 17. I think they write it a little bit confusing, so I'll do it as an example, and then you don't necessarily have to do it. But I have some example problems that aren't like the ones on, they're like the ones on here, but not, different numbers. So the first instruction is to translate the verbal statement to an algebraic expression. Since I wrote in pencil, I'll put the answers in red so you can see them. How do I write 8 more than a number? Well, if the thing I'm looking for is more than the number, then I'm going to write 8 plus n, or n plus 8, either way. That would have worked. The product of 6 and a number, here's where your vocabulary comes in. You need to remember the words product, that's the answer to multiplication, quotient, that's answer to division, difference, that's answer to subtraction, and sum, that's answer to addition. So the product of 6 and a number is just 6n. If you wrote 6x, that'd be fine too, 6y, whatever you choose. 3 less than the square of a number. So here's where order of operations comes in. I'm going to square the number, and then I'm going to want 3 less than that, so I'll subtract 3. The next set of instructions asks you to write an expression for the situation. It says the number of tokens for V video games. If each takes 4 tokens, well, it's 4 tokens for every video game, so that would be 4V. Each person share, if P people share 16 slices of pizza, so I've got 16 slices of pizza, and each person's going to get some of that. If I had 8 people, they'd each get 2. If I had 10 people, we got to cut them into 1.6 pieces. Not so easy. The number of days left in the week, if D days have already passed, well, we know there's 7. D days have already passed, so this expression represents how many days are left. Again, expressions. How do we translate words into symbols? Which I'm a big fan of because I don't like a lot of words. Look how we can take this and make it look like that. This section also reminds us about unit rate. Unit means 1. So I want 300 yards in 1 minute. In this case, I want the answer in feet per second. And I should have written it like this, actually. I hate the slash, as I say. So everything's numerator, denominator. And if I want my answer to be in feet per second, I need to convert yards to feet, and I need to convert minutes to seconds. So there's 3 feet in every yard. Since I want my answers in feet, I know feet needs to go up top. And if I put 1 yard on the bottom, that's great because my yards are going to cancel. And if I want seconds instead of minutes, again, I want seconds on the bottom. So there's 60 seconds in every 1 minute, and then my minutes cancel. And I need to do some math in my head because I don't have my calculator. This 0 cancels that 0, and 30 over 6 is 5, and 5 times 3 is 15. So that's 15 feet per second. Unit analysis is another great way to think about this. Again, if I want to change miles to hour, miles per hour, and often we write this as mph or miles per hour. Again, I don't like the slash, it doesn't help me. I know I have miles in the numerator, I have hours in the denominator, I want feet in the numerator, and I want seconds in the denominator. So first let's do miles. I want to cancel miles. And I want my answer in feet, and there's 5,280 feet in a mile. These things start to stick in your head after you do them a lot. And I can't go right from hours to seconds. I can go first to minutes. So I want to get rid of my hours, so I'm going to put my hour up there. So there's 1 hour and 60 minutes. And again, I want seconds on the bottom. So there's 60 seconds in every 1 minute. And my minutes cancel, my hours cancel, my miles cancel, and I'm left with feet per second. And if I do the math, I meant to grab my calculator. 180 over 60, 18 over 6 is 3, correct? 3 over 60 would be 1 over 20. This 0 cancels, that 0 cancels. 528 divided by 2 is 2 goes into 5 twice. 12, 264 maybe? I'll go with it. I would check it on my calculator, but I don't have it with me right now. 264 feet per second. And then the dreaded word problems. Again, this is about expressions. You might ask, why do I need to do that? It gets helpful the more you try to solve problems. When they're simple, you can sort of think about them in your head. Most problems in real life are a little more complex. So this is number 17 from the worksheet. It's about bowling. Their explanation is fairly complicated, but essentially you get, when you score for a spare, it's equal to the number of pins, which we're going to call P, in the first attempt of the next frame, added to 10. I forgot the added. So basically the expression is, I take the number of pins I knocked down in the first attempt of the next frame to the 10, which was the total I got in the last frame. And then they want to know, well, so there's my expression, P plus 10, where P represents the number of pins in the first attempt of the next frame. And therefore, what would I get if I knocked down 7 pins in my first attempt of the next frame? My score would be 7 plus 10, or 17. So good to practice those when they're simple, and then you'll be better at it when they're more complex. You work in pencil though, not red pen. Red is my color, as I like to say.